Right now at 6, KDOT hosts a meeting to gather public input on the future of Highway 69.
We've got clear skies, a little patchy fog here and there, and another opportunity for an isolated pop-up storm or two. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, the city of Pittsburgh discusses an $80,000 loan for the development of a new bar and food truck park.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Wednesday, July the 24th. And of course, we're live on KOAM, streaming on KOAM Plus.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's all you really need to know. You can watch us anytime, anywhere. And if you haven't stepped outside yet, it's a little bit muggy.
Yep, it's getting there.
It's a bit muggy. The temperature's all right. It's not like hot or anything right now. But it is a little uncomfortable outdoors, unfortunately, and that's just a sign of things to come. We've had a really nice stretch of pleasant weather,
nothing to complain about.
Below average temperatures. I mean, yeah, it's been in the 80s. It's been a little warm, but it's not been bad, but it is coming to an end, and that end starts today. We're going to start with this. This is our camera firmly positioned atop the Cornell complex in downtown Joplin. Looking pretty good. We do have some light fog out in the distance there, and we do have some patchy fog across the area. We'll look at the fog tracker here in just a moment. Our camera 7th and range line also looking fairly good this morning as well, and same from the MoDOT camera. And see, there's JPD out patrolling the streets, keeping an eye on things, and we're looking pretty good. As long as traffic is moving, it's always a good thing. Here's a look at the fog tracker as promised. So down into Delaware County, parts of McDonald County, Grove, Anderson, you can see reporting some lower visibilities than the rest of us, but we're not seeing the same wide spread. We're not seeing more dense fog across the area. It's a little more patchy this morning, a little more isolated. So, but do just keep that in mind as you head out this morning. Future track once again between 3 and 7, showing that opportunity for an isolated pop-up shower storm. Like yesterday, be very isolated out there, but yesterday, we also ended up seeing a couple by the noon hour, so can't rule that out, but the future track, though, playing it out the same way it did yesterday between 3 and 7. We are sitting at 68 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, we're a bit warmer this morning. We all still technically hit lows below normal, but as you see, we had a lot of low 60s up in our northern counties yesterday morning and the past couple of mornings, but not the case this morning. We've got a lot more mid and upper 60s out there ahead of a much warmer day. Now, we're still going to be about normal, but it's going to feel hotter for sure as we go about 90 today. Again, maybe an isolated shower or storm. Heat index values into the low 90s. So it's going to be a bit muggy. It's going to be a bit uncomfortable, but not overbearingly hot. That is going to change, though, as we head into next week. Still looking at that potential for some dangerous heat to return. We'll break down the details on that and some additional rain chances in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
Chris, thanks. Well, the city of Pittsburgh yesterday approved an $80,000 loan for the development of a new bar. The loan will go to Blue Spoon Properties LLC to transform the Old Spicer Adams Welding Building at 415 East 4th Street into a new bar called the Balkan and Canary Lounge. Officials say it will include a food truck park, a stage and projector screen, and an upscale speakeasy-style bar. The money comes from the city's revolving loan fund. One of the concerns brought up during the meeting was parking. Still, the city rejected a request for $10,000 to add parking along Grand Street. The Kansas Department of Transportation holds a series of open house sessions regarding the future of U.S. Highway 69. Yesterday morning's public meeting was at Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium. The purpose is to allow the public to voice their opinions and ideas about the future and possible expansion of U.S. 69. Previous plans for a western and eastern expansion were thrown around for decades. KDOT says it wants citizens' input before carrying out a plan of action.
So today's meeting is we've identified the top 5 items that we think we heard the public tell us from the first month. And we're here to verify, are we correct? Did we hear you correctly?
Officials say the main focus at this time is studying the highway and its stakeholders before starting or considering any projects. And if you missed yesterday's open house, you have 2 more chances today from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Palookis in Frontenac, and then from 4 to 6 p.m. at Northeast High School in Arma. Well, MoDOT is seeking public input for an I-44 corridor ecosystem study. The meeting, which was held at Joplin Public Library, allowed the public to give their opinions on a wide variety of topics from the road safety to congestion and more. The Forward 44 project aims to map out the best path forward to update and improve the road.
I think that we just want to make sure that they know they have an opportunity to come out and see what we're doing with this study. I-44 is a vital east-west corridor, in Missouri. But really, it's a corridor of really national significance. There's a tremendous amount of freight that travels, and goods and services, that utilizes I-44 every day.
For more information, you can head to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Quapaw Nation and Ottawa County 911 Authority yesterday cut the ribbon for their new dispatch center. The new center uses technology to allow the public to send text or video calls to dispatch. They're also able to detect location more accurately. With the new technology, they can respond faster to emergencies and help more people.
Whether it be video, text messages, voice. They are also clearer and more reliable. With Next Gen 911 and the 911 system we currently have, it pinpoints the location faster and more reliable than it ever has.
The telecommunications manager says their goal with creating the new dispatch center is to make Ottawa County safer. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Homes in the U.S. are the most expensive they've ever been based on data going back to 1999. Plus, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump are sharpening their attacks against one another. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning. If you love to travel, the best way to get around the world is having access to a Singapore passport. That's according to a London-based group called the Henley Passport Index. It has kept track of global access over the past 2 decades, and having a passport from Singapore will give you entry into 195 destinations around the world without needing a visa. 10 years ago, a U.S. or British passport was the best passport to own, but not so today. The latest survey ranked the UK 4th and the United States 8th on the list. A U.S. passport only will provide access to 186 countries without a visa. Well, homes in the U.S. are the most expensive they've ever been, at least in this century. The median price of a previously owned home rose to nearly $427,000 in June. That's the second month in a row prices reached a fresh record high based on data going back to 1999. That's according to the National Association of Realtors. June was also the 12th month in a row prices increased on an annual basis. Meanwhile, existing home sales, which make up a vast majority of the housing market, fell 5.4% last month. It's a sign of weakening demand amid the worst housing affordability in a generation. The electric vehicle manufacturer saw year-over-year profits plunge 40% in the last quarter. Much of that is because of Elon Musk's company is getting hit from two sides. First, sales growth is slowing in the overall EV market as it matures. Second, Tesla is facing mounting competition from established automakers in the sector it once pioneered. The company also issued new guidance warning growth in 2024 may be notably lower than last year's. Investors don't seem overly worried, though. Tesla's shares only fell 4% in after-hours trading. Part of that may be due to optimism around Tesla's planned diversification into driverless taxis and robotics for manufacturing. A federal investigation reveals the impact of a technical error that knocked out AT&T's calling services nationwide back in February. According to a new Federal Communications Commission report, at least 25,000 emergency calls were blocked during the glitch. The cellular outage was caused after AT&T implemented a network change, causing the entire network to enter protection mode. It took the company 2 hours to roll back the network change and at least 12 hours to fully restore service. The FCC said the nationwide outage blocked more than 92 million calls. Calling and mobile data services were disrupted for 125 million devices. AT&T said it has made changes to prevent February's incident from happening again. Well, the race for the White House continues to take shape this morning with Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump sharpening their attacks against one another. Yesterday, Trump said he'd be willing to debate Harris more than once, but first she must become her party's official nominee. Later today, President Biden will explain to the American people why he ended his campaign and endorsed Harris. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
Back in Washington, Joe Biden is entering a new phase of his presidency. Tonight, set to address the nation about his decision to exit the 2024 race.
He wants to talk directly to all of you, to the American people, to talk about what's next.
It comes a day after Vice President Kamala Harris held her first rally as a 2024 presidential candidate, packing out a gym in a key swing state.
We have earned the support of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
In a suburb of Milwaukee, where just last week, former President Donald Trump accepted the GOP nomination, Harris pledged to take him on.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week.
Harris's momentum fueled by an influx of cash and major endorsements, including the top Democrats in Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
We're going to hold the Senate. We're going to win the House. We're going to elect Kamala Harris as our next president in November.
Yesterday, Trump appeared to sharpen his barbs against his new likely opponent, Harris.
She's far more radical than he is. She wants open borders. She wants things that nobody wants.
That line of attack echoed by Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
The Biden record is the Kamala Harris record.
Trump will rally in North Carolina later today, while Harris is set to address the historically black sororities convention in Indianapolis. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Tomorrow, Vice President Harris will address the American Federation of Teachers, one of several labor organizations to endorse her this week. Former President Trump and his VP pick, J.D. Vance, will hold their second joint rally this weekend in Minnesota. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a nice start out there, a little bit on the muggy side, but temperature still technically below normal. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear across the region, and it will remain that way. And we've got a pretty decent start to the day. Clear skies, again, a little bit on the muggy side. It's going to be a little warmer today as well. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, more than 100 children with disabilities will participate in a baseball all-star weekend in Georgia. Lindsay Tuman reports.
The cheers, the camaraderie, the sheer joy. Those are all things the players, the coaches, and the fans will see on the Miracle League field at Newton County.
I like it. I enjoy playing.
Yeah?
I do it to win for the trophies, have fun, and have some snacks.
Connor Cleveland has been on the team since he was 4 years old. His dad, Jonathan, coaches.
It's a great feeling when you come out and you get a kid that, that we know would never get a chance to play, come out and actually smile and laugh and hit the ball and run. And sometimes we chase them to make them run, but we make it happen, and they have a lot of fun. That's what Miracle League is all about.
While the aim of the game is fun, these are serious athletes who want to win.
We try to get them as technically sound as we can so that when they do have the competitive game, they go out there and they compete, and these kids, they want to win just like every other kid wants to win. So we try to teach them as much as we can.
And this year, they'll be competing against more than 100 kids like them from across the nation for the 2024 National Miracle League All-Star Weekend. Mike Hopkins is the chairman of the Friends of Miracle League of Newton County.
So once they get here in Atlanta, we take over, house them, let them play games all day on Saturday, feed them and have a gala, let them dance on Saturday night, and then get them back to the airport. And some of these kids, first time ever getting out of their own city.
It's a home run for the county and for all the kids involved.
My daughter now, if we didn't get her out, she would be at home, pretty stationary. So it's great them to get out, get some fresh air, interact with other people.
While they gear up for the big game this fall, they're also focused on growing their efforts at their home base.
We really want to do more than just baseball as well, too. So, some other activities that they have struggles with. We want to be able to provide things like that, maybe basketball, painting, bike riding, things like that, where they can do as a group, because they seem to, when you get them in teams, they seem to thrive.
Providing more miracles for these athletes who've become not just a team, but a family.
It makes me feel like, it makes me feel great. Super duper doodly great.
Quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a muggy start out there and a hot day ahead of us. We'll take a look at that full forecast and some rain chances when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 622, about 623 now on this Wednesday morning. Fog tracker, we're still dealing with some patchy fog, so Mount Vernon, Cassville, Anderson Grove with some of the lower visibilities out there. But as you see, we have slightly reduced visibilities in a number of locations, so not nearly as dense as what we've seen the last couple of mornings, but still, you want to slow down and watch out for that fog this morning. The future track doing exactly what it did yesterday. It's painting an opportunity for isolated pop-up showers and storms between 3 and 7. Now, yesterday we did see some as early as the noon hour, but Future Track sticking to its model here and saying that it'll be between 3 and 7 today. Then that'll clear out. We'll be clear overnight heading into our Thursday. Thursday, the pattern repeats again between roughly, say, 3 and 7. An isolated pop-up shower or storm will be possible out there. But again, as you can see, the majority of us will remain dry. We have slightly better chances for pop-up showers and storms as we go into Friday and Saturday. So we can look at Friday, and by noon, starts a little earlier, we have a few of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms out there. But as you can see, even though they're still fairly isolated, there's a few more of them as we head into the afternoon hours and evening on Friday. And with that said, that will also make them stick around a little longer. Could last as long as maybe 8, 9 o'clock on Friday evening. And with the cloud cover and those better rain chances between Friday and Saturday, our temperatures will go back below normal by just a wee bit, and it'll be a brief dip, but hey, nonetheless, it's below normal. 68 in Joplin right now. Visibility at the airport's at 8 miles. Dew point humidity up there, so even though it's not a bad temperature, if you walk outside, you can definitely feel the thickness of the air. It's a bit on the muggy side. Also, no low 60s this morning. Last couple of mornings, we've had some cool spots in our northern counties. Not the case today. We've got mid-upper 60s across the region. Still, though, our average low is 70, so we're still a bit below that, but again, that's going to come to an end as well. Sunny skies through the morning, low 80s by 11 o'clock as that gradual warming trend continues, and we'll make it about average today, going around 90 degrees for the high. Again, a bit muggy, though, so heat index values low mid-90s out there. We go into the evening, and again, once we get through that opportunity for a pop-up shower or two, skies clear out again. We're back close to normal. Go upper 60s right around 70 with clear skies. Heading down the road, low 90s tomorrow, and then thanks to the rain chances, cloud cover, more so the cloud cover than anything, will fall just a wee bit below normal Friday and Saturday. We're about normal Sunday, a little above, and then as we head into next week, that's where we're watching that possibility for some dangerous heat to return. As you can see, temperatures getting close to 100 degrees next week, which will put our heat index values upwards of maybe 105. So just be aware of that as we head into the next work week, that this nice break we've had is about to come to an end. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. One of the most popular non-surgical cosmetic procedures in the world may give new hope to children with cerebral palsy. A recent randomized clinical trial published in Developmental Medicine and Children Neurology finds injections of Botox trigger some decrease in calf pain intensity. The shots also helped improve energy levels in kids with the condition who can use up to 5 times more energy than able-bodied people when moving around or walking. Colorectal cancer is a disease that disproportionately affects Black Americans, but a new paper in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute highlights ways to close the gap. Researchers found eliminating differences in both follow-up rates and colonoscopy quality would reduce the colorectal cancer incidence gap between Black and white people by 49%. And a new study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society finds treating anxiety may have long-term effects on your brain. Researchers in Australia found the presence of chronic anxiety and new onset anxiety were associated with a greater risk of dementia. However, where anxiety had resolved, there was no association with dementia risk. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, some local county officials are testing their voting equipment ahead of election season.
And we've got a bit of a muggy start, some patchy fog here and there. Could see another isolated shower or storm, and temperatures getting hot. Look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, members of 4-H and the FFA show off their livestock and hard work at the Labette County Fair.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner, and it's Wednesday, halfway through this week, halfway through the last full week of July.
Yeah, summer's flying by.
It is, and it's going to start to feel a lot like summer again out there too. We've had a nice little break. I mean, like I said, I know the 80s are still warm. It's been toasty, but we've had a break from that oppressive heat. Unfortunately, this break is coming to a close. I got to deal with that summer heat once again, and it's going to start today. Now, it's not going to be too terrible today, but it's going to start getting hotter today, a little closer to normal. This morning, though, it's not bad. It's muggy. If you step outside, the air temperature's okay, but the humidity and dew point are up there, and it's a little bit muggy. It's a little bit foggy in some locations. Our camera 7th and range line, because of some of that fog, we get some low-level clouds kind of once again blocking the sunrise this morning. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also looking pretty good this morning as well. Here's the fog tracker. So again, along and south of I-44 is where we have some of the denser fog. Grove, Anderson, Cassville, Mount Vernon reporting less than 5 miles of visibility, but we're not seeing the same overly dense fog that we saw the last couple of mornings. And we have reduced visibilities outside of that zone as well. So just as you're traveling this morning, do keep that in mind and watch out for areas of denser patchy fog or patchy denser fog out there. Future track is again, like yesterday, painting the same picture, but a reminder for those who maybe you were on your lunch hour, didn't even see it because they were very isolated. At noon yesterday, we did have a couple of isolated pop-up storms out there. They were very isolated, but they did show up a little earlier than Future Track anticipated, so that could happen again today. But otherwise, it's still saying between 3 and 7, an isolated chance of a pop-up shower or storm. Big deal today is our temperatures going back to about normal. It is 68 in Joplin. There it is, 65 in Pittsburgh right now. And again, this morning, no low 60s. We're all a little milder today. Well, take that back. Fort Scott's fallen back a bit, 63. But the majority of us, though, mid-upper 60s across the area. So again, a slightly warmer start for us ahead of a slightly warmer day. That gradual warm-up continues. Highs today about normal, about 90, but will still be muggy. So heat index values low to mid-90s. And we'll have that isolated chance of a pop-up shower or storm here or there. We have slightly better pop-up storm chances a little later this week. And then the dangerous heat looks to return next week. Go over all those details with you in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. The August primaries are just around the corner and local election officials are getting ready. The Jasper County Clerk yesterday hosted a public test of county voting equipment. Anyone was able to attend the test, which makes sure the equipment, programming, and process for the elections work without failure.
I have 2 ladies that do the public test, and the reason we do that is we don't want any staff members involved. We want to have a Republican and a Democrat that are actually doing the feeding of the ballots through the machine. We want people to understand that it is not our office telling you that it is accurate and the test is good.
You can find important election dates and deadlines on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The Dairy Queen in Joplin hosted a pretty cool event yesterday. Children's Miracle Network local champion 8-year-old Vincent Wilkowski stopped by to make a signature blizzard, the Vincent Blizzard. Vincent's mother, the Children's Miracle Network, has made a world of difference in their lives.
Vincent was born early with clubfoot, so we traveled to St. Louis a lot, and he's had multiple surgeries, and Vincent also has seizures. Because of Children's Miracle Network, we're able to make the trips to St. Louis, and also Vincent has a seizure monitor. They've helped us with seizure medicine. Because of them, I'm able to sleep at night.
This Thursday, $1 or more from every purchased Blizzard from the Joplin location will be donated to Freeman Health System, a member hospital of Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Members of 4-H and the FFA got to show off their livestock and hard work this week at the Labette County Fair. Poultry and cattle took the spotlight yesterday. One veteran exhibitor had some advice for showing livestock.
You want to always look at the judge to make sure you have eye contact with them, and then also just have fun in the arena.
The event concludes this Friday with a livestock auction. Well, area band camps have started tuning up in preparation for the upcoming school year. Yesterday, Oklahoma hosted its band camp. Student musicians turned out to start working on physical conditions, sizing uniforms, team building, and of course, begin practicing music.
We pulled out some music and we took a look at just some stand tunes, just because most of us haven't played over the summer. And we took a look at the national anthem because it's a new version for them. Not for me, but for them.
We'll be diving into other area band camps later this week. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The Department of Transportation's Office of Aviation Consumer Protection says it's investigating Delta Airlines over the global IT outage. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch this morning, Delta Airlines says its operations might not be back to normal until the end of the week. The result is ongoing problems with flight cancellations and missing luggage. Amy Kiley has advice from experts on what to do if you've been or think you might become caught up in the mess.
This is about as bad as it gets for an airline.
Officials estimate the Delta meltdown involves more than 500,000 passengers, and that's not counting earlier issues with other carriers.
This is one of, if not the biggest airline meltdowns ever.
Here are 3 tips from experts for affected travelers. 1, recognize the situation is ongoing. Delta says operations might not be back to normal until the end of the week. The result is stranded passengers and luggage, as even NBA legend Charles Barkley saw in Atlanta.
I'm looking around. It's going to be a minute because it's a lot of luggage here. I just flew in today, didn't have any issues. Well, I don't know yet. I haven't found my golf clubs yet.
2, save receipts. Delta says it will reimburse hotel, meal, and ground transportation expenses for long delays and cancellations. Other airlines have similar policies. Travel insurance or even some credit card protections might cover additional items. As for unused airfare,
when an airline cancels or significantly delays a flight, you are entitled to a refund, not just a travel credit or a voucher.
3, contact the Department of Transportation if needed. The agency says it wants to know if airlines violate federal rules.
We informed Delta today that DOT is launching an investigation into the breakdown of operations and into the customer service situation.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The Department of Transportation's Office of Aviation Consumer Protection is investigating Delta Airlines. This comes after a 5th straight day of hundreds of flight cancellations, and the company's problems began after last week's global IT outage. Delta says it's cooperating with the federal investigation. The Federal Trade Commission has launched a probe into surveillance pricing, which is when companies use artificial intelligence to collect personal data in order to sell the same product at differing prices based on consumer habits. The agency has ordered 8 companies, including JP Morgan, Chase, and MasterCard, to provide more information on their practices. And In its ongoing efforts to promote inclusivity, toy maker Mattel has introduced 2 new Barbies. The first ever blind Barbie and the first black Barbie with Down syndrome. The company says it worked with the American Federation for the Blind and the National Down Syndrome Society to ensure the accuracy of both dolls. Deputies say it was almost $1 million heist. Law enforcement officials in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, say a customer purchased 2 scratch-off lottery tickets. He asked the clerk to check them on the spot, and one was worth $40. And the clerk said the other one was worthless, except it wasn't. Nick Barris has more.
Rutherford County Sheriff's detectives say that customer bought 2 $20 diamond and gold lottery tickets from the clerk, 23-year-old Meet Patel. As some lottery players do to save time, the customer just scratched off the front barcodes and then asked Patel to check if they were winners.
If you scratch off the front barcode, it'll tell you if it's a winner or not, regardless of whether you scratch off everything showing how much you've won.
Lieutenant Detective Steve Craig says both tickets won, but Patel only handed the man back the $40 winner. He told him the other ticket lost, but in actuality, it was $1 million winner.
He threw it on top of the trash. As that gentleman left, he took the trash outside. And if you follow him on the camera, you can see him grab the ticket, put it in his pocket.
Not long after that, Patel decided to try and claim the cash prize.
He went to the Tennessee Lottery Commission to claim the ticket as his own, and through their normal line of questioning, there were enough red flags for them to say, hey, you need to get all your affairs in order and come back to us, and we're going to hold on to the ticket.
What Patel likely didn't know is that lottery officials vet all big winners, and that includes checking security video of the tickets purchased. Video in evidence that Craig says clearly shows the ticket was stolen.
It's pretty obvious. It's good enough for me to put in front of 12 jurors and make sure that they all come to the same conclusion.
Theft on $1 million ticket is a Class A felony. The clerk was booked and is being held on a $100,000 bond. The real $1 million winner has been located, but he wants to remain anonymous. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Boy, that is one heck of an attempted heist on a lottery ticket there. But yeah, it's true. They know where those books were. They know what stores they're in. They know more details about those lottery tickets than you'll ever want to know. So don't ever try anything silly, okay? We've got ourselves a muggy but cool start to the day and some patchy fog here and there. It's our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin from 7th and Rangeline. Starting to get a little more sunlight out there. You can see the low clouds thanks to some of that fog off in the distance. That's been once again kind of blocking that sunrise. And again, a little haze further south from MoDOT camera 32nd and Rangeline. And the fog tracker again showing really along and south of I-44 is kind of the main point of the denser fog. And you can see it's starting to thicken up a bit. We've got visibilities falling again. Grove, Cassville, Mount Vernon, Anderson, down to 5.1 visibility in Pittsburgh. So there's some patchy fog out there. Some of it's dense in location. So just keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning. Could see an isolated pop-up shower or storm. The future track, like yesterday, still showing that time frame is roughly 3 to 7. But yesterday we did see a couple of those pop-up storms around the noon hour, so we'll see exactly how it plays out. As I've mentioned with pop-up storms, it's difficult for future track to really hone in on them because there's not a specific weather event triggering the storms. We have a cold front or something along those lines that's triggering storms. Future track data picks up on that a lot easier because there's a trigger for it. Pop-up storms, they just kind of happen, and so it makes its best guess, in all honesty, as to when, where, and how they will end up developing. We'll have pop-up storm chances over the next couple of days. We're going to talk about that. It's also going to start to get a lot hotter over the next several days. We'll go over that as well. We'll also celebrate birthdays and anniversaries here in a moment, but first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, Tony and Nate put their athletic skills to the test as they learn about fencing from an Olympian. On guard is the word. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings, and they are into it.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're starting with Cameron Borland in Webb City, celebrating birthday number 6. Happy birthday.
Also celebrating their 6th birthday over in Chanute is Sebastian Pitts. It says here, Grandma's favorite rock star. Hope you have a wonderful day. We love you. Love all your family and friends.
And we've got Renly Murphy celebrating birthday number 10 down in Seneca. Says happy birthday with lots of love from Mom, Dad, Roma, Ryder, Raylan, and Nanny, and all of the family.
And over in Jasper, a happy 12th birthday to Baylor Hensley.
And in Baxter Springs, Lance Corpier celebrating birthday number 21. Happy birthday, Lance.
And over in rural Cherokee, a happy 78th birthday to Galen Snow, who's pictured here with his granddaughter Dania. It says, happy birthday, Papa, and from all the family.
And in Columbus, Jim Bowles celebrating another year wiser. A very happy birthday to you, Jim, and a very happy birthday to everybody on our list.
Yes.
And of course, we love celebrating. We also love those messages and photos too. And if you want to celebrate with us, Elise has the deets.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnews.now.com. Be sure to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen and to include the day of your celebration when submitting as well.
And turning to the fog trackers, we showed you just a few minutes ago. We do have some dense fog out there now, kind of showing up along and south of I-44 is where the greater reduced visibilities are. Mount Vernon, Cassville, Anderson, Grove. So do watch out as you're traveling this morning. And as you see, we've got reduced visibilities in other locations. So just watch out for that fog and watch out for some of that patchy, dense fog as well. Future track today. Again, an isolated pop-up shower or storm is possible. Like yesterday, be very isolated in nature, but at least maybe one or two of us will get a stray shower or two. This pattern will repeat again for us on our Thursday. It'll be a very isolated opportunity for a pop-up shower or storm. In fact, I mean, unless I pause the future track at almost 15-minute intervals, you'll miss some of them because they're going to be very short-lived as well. You can see how quickly, like those ones right around Monette, they flare up and then they're gone just like that. That's why they're pop-up storms. As we go into Friday, though, slightly better opportunity for some pop-up storms. They're still going to be fairly isolated, but they do start a little earlier. Here we are at noon. Got a few of those out there, and we'll hold on to these chances a little longer as well. So again, not everybody on Friday will see rain, but at least you can see there's a few more of these pop-up storms, and some of them lasting a little later, maybe as late as 9, 10 o'clock out there. So that'll give us an opportunity for some better rain chances, and that'll continue into Saturday. We'll see that same pattern repeat. Even if you don't get rain, there's going to be one benefit. There's going to be extra cloud cover from some of those pop-up storms out there, and that'll keep our temperatures back below normal for a couple of days before we really start to heat up again. 68 in Joplin. Airport is reporting 8 miles of visibility. Winds are calm, but the dew point humidity up there. So even though temperatures are pretty decent this morning, it's a little muggier this morning. We've got, for the most part, mid-upper 60s across the region. So technically, we all, again, for record-keeping purposes, have fallen below normal for our overnight lows. But that pattern is going to start to come to an end as well. Sunny skies through the morning, and we're going to be into the low 80s by about 11 o'clock, and that is ahead of highs getting hotter, but about average. We're supposed to be right around 90, 91, and that's where we're going to be today for most of us. We'll have those partly cloudy skies and an opportunity for maybe a pop-up shower or thunderstorm here or there as well. Then as we head into the evening hours, once again, skies will begin to clear late evening and overnight. As you can see, we're a little milder tonight as well. Temperatures going back a lot closer to normal, upper 60s, maybe some 70-degree readings here and there. Then, like I said, unfortunately, this break in the oppressive heat and all that is going to come to a close. So, still the random storm chances through Saturday. That does knock us just a wee bit below normal. By Sunday, we're back to about normal. And then after that, take a look at some of those temperatures. We're going to get close to 100 degrees as we head into next week, and that could push our heat index values into the lower 100s next week as well. So just make sure you're prepared, make sure you're just aware. I know we've gotten used to the below normal temperatures, but we've got to make sure we're ready going back to work, especially if you work outdoors, for some of that dangerous heat. Let's check your forecast. We'll have one more look at that, plus the news you need to know in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see a Georgia Little League that allows kids to enjoy one of America's greatest pastimes.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Residents and stakeholders gathered at Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium to discuss the future of Highway 69. KDOT says the plan is to hear opinions, positive or negative, from citizens before they determine the future of US 69. KDOT is seeking a solution that will increase the safety and functionality of the highway. 2 more meetings are scheduled for today. The first one will be at the Paloocas in Frontenac from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then from 4 to 6 p.m. at Northeast High School in Arma. Waupun Nation and Ottawa County 911 Authority cut the ribbon for their new dispatch center. The center uses technology to allow the public to send text or video calls to dispatch. This new technology will allow faster response times for emergencies and help more people. MoDOT is seeking public input for an I-44 corridor ecosystem study as part of their Forward 44 project. A meeting was held at the Joplin Public Library for residents to give their opinions on a wide variety of topics from road safety to traffic congestion and more. The Forward 44 project aims to map out the best path forward to update and improve the road. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, it's a bit muggy this morning. It's going to be hot today, but seasonably hot as we go about 90 degrees, our average high. Partly cloudy skies and then a slight chance of an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Once we get past 7, the skies clear back out. We're clear overnight, falling back near normal as well. Upper 60s, right around 70. More pop-up storms tomorrow. Better chances, at least slightly better, for Friday and Saturday. And that knocks our temperatures just a wee bit below normal. As we head into next week, the dangerous heat looks to return. We climb back near 100 degrees, and that could put our heat index values easily in the lower 100s. So as I mentioned before, I know we've enjoyed this break. We've kind of gotten used to it, but you want to make sure you're getting ready to take your heat safety precautions next week, especially for those who may be outdoors during the week.
Yes. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a strawberry Italian ice in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Coming up, an important warning for homeowners in their Money Watch segment. So-called zombie mortgages could pose a big danger. I'll tell you what to look for.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, the city of Pittsburgh discusses an $80,000 loan for the development of a new bar and food truck park.
Plus, Sarah Runyon from the city of Pittsburgh joins us in the studio to talk about the Neighborhood Advisory Council and how they serve the community. That's going to wrap it up for us, though. For now, we'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.